Underrated and phenomenal. The two words I'd use to describe the action at Michigan International Speedway. It is truly one of my favorite tracks. And with the Cup Series race, it came down to a fuel mileage cat and mouse game that ended in heartbreak and a big win for one driver. Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, it's Taylor Kitchen and welcome back to Above the Yellow Line on the ATYL Media channel. And before we get into the video talking about Michigan, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you know when we post. But a call out because it is the elephant in the room, yes. I'm an Ohio native. And yes, I am wearing the Ohio State University gear, just kind of as a call out. I take us going to Michigan very seriously. So anywho, so apologies to all of my Michigan viewers here, but had to represent being from Ohio. However, I do want to kind of do a callback to the Truck Series race on Saturday. A major congrats to Stuart Friesen, snapping a 72 race winless streak on an overtime restart. Remember, earlier in the season, he was questioning if he wanted to do this still. I know it has been a really rough year for him so far, and he was like, I should just maybe stick to dirt racing. I shouldn't be here. I don't know. Obviously, a win fixes all. He's now locked into the Truck Series playoffs. Congrats to him. It is major. For the Cup Series race, we saw excellent battles during the event, and it all, of course, as it does at Michigan, came down to fuel strategy. With like 30 to 40 laps to go, it was pretty nail-biting because we didn't know who could or who couldn't make it at the drop of the checkered flag. Drivers who were in contention were William Byron, Kyle Larson, Ty Gibbs, Hocevar, who was leading at that point. We had Denny Hamlin, Chris Buescher, all were in contention for the win, but the question was who had enough fuel to make it. At one point, Larson, for every gallon, he had a mile ahead of the rest of the field that were fighting for that win. So he was playing that cat and mouse game, trying to save enough fuel, and looked like he was doing it pretty successfully to potentially go for the win. But as time went on, cars started going down pit road, and at the end of the day, Denny Hamlin saved enough fuel to pass William Byron with 4 laps to go to get the win at the FireKeepers Casino 400. For William Byron, the question is, how many ways can you lose a race? I hate it for that 24 team who have been so dominant at so many points this season, just haven't been able to close it out as many times as I think they would like to because they've lost so many races that were simply just theirs. For this race, he led, I think 98 laps and ultimately finished 28th after he had to dip to pit road because he ran out of fuel. For Carson Hocevar, again, he was leading toward the end of this race, a hometown kid. Everyone wanted to see him potentially get his first win here at this track, a track that he's been so good at in the past. And unfortunately, he was about 4 laps short on fuel anyways, but with less than 20 laps to go, blew a left rear tire, had to go down pit road, finished right behind William Byron in the 29th position. So 2 heartbreaks right there, but not a heartbreak for Denny Hamlin, capturing his 3rd win of the season and his 3rd win at Michigan. Something else to note here too that's more impressive about this win as brought up by the Prime broadcast is that Denny Hamlin is now one of 10 drivers to win past their 700th career start. So that's very impressive there. We talk about, is Denny gonna hang up the helmet anytime soon? I'm like, he's too good to do that. So I don't wanna talk about that unless he's talking about it, but an impressive result for Denny Hamlin nonetheless. And of course, being the Ohio native I am, I appreciated the nod to the Ohio State University while he was on the front stretch. But anywho, let's get into the rest of our top 10 results. So we have Denny Hamlin first, and second, Chris Buescher, and he was one of those drivers who was in contention for the win and who was lurking behind, saving fuel when he was given the all clear, all good to go, you've saved enough, fight for the win. He was just a few laps short of making that win a possibility, finishing that 2nd place behind Denny Hamlin. He was dejected after the race, but he's won at this track before, so he knows how to get it done. Unfortunately, though, just didn't have enough time to get to the lead. In 3rd place, though, Ty Gibbs, a driver who's been successful at this track, I believe in all of his Cup Series starts, but one here, he's finished inside the top 10. They needed a track where they could turn their results around, and this was going to be it for Ty Gibbs, and it was it. A top 5 finish, phenomenal for that team. 4th, we have Bubba Wallace. 5th, Kyle Larson. 6th, Ross Chastain. 7th, Zane Smith, his best result of the season, so kudos to him and that Front Row Motorsports team. 8th, Kyle Busch. 9th, Ryan Preece. And 10th, Brad Keselowski. That makes all top 10 finishes across the board for all of the RFK Fords. Impressive for them, and I did want to give a shout out to a Michigan native, another Michigan native, Eric Jones, finishing in 11th. The last result I want to talk about is unfortunately a DNF from Alex Bowman, because this was a pretty big point in the race, a multi-car incident just due to everyone getting squeezed, fighting for positions. It was Austin Cindric and Cole Custer making contact that sent Custer into Bowman and Suarez. Bowman going head on into the safer barrier on the outside wall. Terrifying, and glad he is ultimately okay, was released from the infield care center. But my goodness, what a testament to the safety advancements in NASCAR that he was able to walk away from that. But terrifying incident, but not a great result, obviously, for Alex Bowman, who's been struggling the past few weeks. This now makes 3 DNFs for Alex Bowman this season, and if you look at his stats, up until Homestead, he had pretty good momentum running. Then after Homestead, he's only had 2 top 10 finishes, so not great for Alex Bowman, and every other finish outside of those 2 have been outside the top 20. I know this 48 team is capable of so much more. It's just a matter of staying out of trouble and just trying to make it work. 2 of those DNFs came from incidents. 1 of those DNFs came from engine failure. But my goodness, hopefully we have a few good tracks coming up for Alex Bowman. Of course, winning at Chicago last year. We have Chicago coming up in July. Maybe we'll see a good result from Alex Bowman there. I know that was very strategy driven. Nevertheless, glad to see Alex Bowman is okay. Hate to see the results that this 48 team is getting right now. Besides that being a big on-track incident, why else did bringing that up matter? Well, points. I love how Prime is bringing up the point standings, because it's going to be August before we know it, when we're at Daytona right before the playoffs start. So looking at the points now really does matter, because the points are close. One bad day and any of these drivers could be below that cutoff line. Right now, Chris Buescher is 14th in the point standings, plus 20 to the good. Behind him, you have Alex Bowman, plus 13 to the good. And then you have a battle around that cutoff line where Ryan Preece is plus 0 and Kyle Busch is minus 0. Below Kyle Busch, we have Carson Hocevar and AJ Allmendinger minus 18, and below them, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. minus 20. So again, one race could change this all if one of those drivers has a bad day, or let's say a good day. And ultimately, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it does matter, but like if a driver wins that's maybe not in that picture or is in that picture, they're into the playoffs, and it changes things even more. So keep your eye on the points as we go forward. But last thing I want to talk about before we get into our race rating is some news that was announced before the race happened on Sunday. I couldn't go into our race rating until I talked about Ram being back in the Truck Series. Today it was finally officially announced. I know a lot of us have kind of seen the rumors and have seen the leaks about it ahead of time, but it was finally officially announced today that Ram is back in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series after a 13-year hiatus. I'm so excited to see another manufacturer back in the Truck Series, because I think it'll lead to a good variety of competition. Now, we don't know what teams or drivers are jumping ship to Ram just yet, so we'll kind of have to keep our ear out listening for that news when it does break. But nonetheless, very exciting. And of course, I put the tinfoil hat on because there have been rumors about a 4th or maybe even a 5th manufacturer joining the NASCAR Cup Series in the next few years. And I think, well, Stellantis is Dodge as well as Ram. And maybe we'll see Dodge make a comeback in Cup or Xfinity, and or I don't know. The other thing I know too is we've heard rumors about potentially maybe Honda or something like that joining Cup or Xfinity or something of the sort as well. So again, tinfoil hat is definitely on when I hear this news officially today, but I'm sure that there's going to be a lot developing over the next few years in terms of manufacturers potentially joining the higher ranks of NASCAR. But there's that news right there at least. That said, let's go into our race rating above or below the yellow line. And for this one, it's kind of on par with the excitement levels that I had at Nashville. Nonstop action, but Michigan is going to be a step above because of those wide sweeping corners. It's going to lead to some great battles like we saw around that 50-lap mark where drivers were just gunning for the lead. I think Chase Elliott got the lead, and then behind him and Ryan Blaney, it was just a slew of cars, like 7 or 8 cars, going for the next spot, trading back and forth positions. And then you have that Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson battle where Hamlin almost lost the car, but it was like that, I feel like, the entire race. And for those of you who said passing is not an option at Michigan, well, just take a look on lap 1 to lap 4 when Tyler Reddick went from dead last to 18th place. I think the only track you can really do that at is a super speedway and or Michigan that kind of acts like a super speedway, but technically is not one. These teams were probably exhausted trying to figure out the strategy for fuel mileage because of how the cautions fell, and trying to figure out how to fix their cars to make them run better, because Before Sunday, the weather was overcast, a little bit cooler, and then Sunday, for a majority of the race, it was just sun, no clouds. A great, beautiful day. One of the best days for racing that Michigan International Speedway has seen for the Cup Series in quite a few years. I would know. I've gone to the monsoon of rain that's been at that track over the past few years. But nevertheless, a fantastic race. I gotta give this one a 92% above the yellow line. Might be too high, but this race was just so darn good. So what did you think of the action in the Irish Hills? Let me know in the comments below. And with that, we're going to wrap up this episode of Above the Yellow Line. Make sure to go to abovetheyellowline.com to learn more about us, what we do here at ATYL Media, and of course, the partners that make this all possible. But thank you all so much for tuning in. And until next time, I'll see ya. Bye.